Hello world and welcome to my world. I hope that we are live. Is it working? Okay, I see somebody. Zebra is first in. Robert, thanks so much for joining. And Seals, great to see you. Thanks so much. Hope it's not a wake-up call. I just realized, actually, this is a painting from the previous collection, which is on. And Grace is with us as well. Welcome. So that one is all about this kind of facing of the fears and the turbulence that are happening internally, and we have that. So I'm going to remove that because it's not so topical now in relation to the composers that we are going to be tackling upon. But instead, we need to put in the most, the latest piece, which we've been working on actually yesterday and also a few days ago. I think it was on Monday and then Friday again. Yeah, it's kind of crooked, but it doesn't matter. I think that we are not living, when it comes to live streaming, is the anti-perfectionist world. So I haven't touched the piano for quite a bit, actually since the time I was at the museum, which was I think 3 days ago. So I was letting my subconscious work. Quick hello, absolutely, have to, absolutely. Thank you so much, and likewise, Greg, have a great time in one of the most beautiful places in Europe. I love the Belgium. And yeah, exactly. So hold on a second. Now I need to get the music, the scores up, and we are going to go into the world of Prokofiev. I was working on this piano, and it was very heavy. This one is arranged to be at the heaviest end, but that grand piano is super heavy. It's some Russian brand, and I think I'm going to start with Barber. Just one moment. Yeah, I need to put Prokofiev there at the background so that we can get this. By the way, I would appreciate also the feedback. Is the sound and video okay? How are we doing in that sense? And I need to find out the music. Where did I put the music? Scores. It's in here. Get it in here. Thank you so much. Likewise, have a great time. Thank you. And also thanks so much for sharing, everyone. Please share and connect. So there you are. I'm ideas tricks all over the social media. This parallel existence to us in real life. And now there is a big effort. Actually, thanks so much for sharing vinyl music. Actually, there is a big effort. I even wrote an article and I published it a few days ago on Medium. It's about the loneliness and this sense of aptness, the disconnect that the technology is somehow bringing us, but at the same time it's quite connected. So let me just, I think that's it, yeah. So let's start with the Barber. So it's mid-20s, it's very difficult to listen to, but anyway, it's going to be fun because the thoughts are great. Oh, sorry, I just have to fix something. Okay, back. And also need that one to check on the time because I'm also going somewhere. That's why I'm already. Just hold on a second. Yeah, this is what I have to check. So. So that's good. I think we have about an hour, so that's what I'm going to be practicing now. And we're going to be exploring, delving into this world. And also everyone, please share and connect, but also share your thoughts. Share the ideas that are going through your mind while you're listening to this, because this piece, this music in general is about the visions that the composers had and wanted to invoke in us, listeners or creators. So in this case... that's a serialism now from this point, so it's kind of tricky. You're going to just work a little bit. I'm really appreciating the sound and touch of this piano compared to that grand piano, even though that grand piano is more rewarding in terms of acoustic because it's a gorgeous old building, the Baroque building, and you know, it has all those precious artifacts from the past as well around it, all the paintings and also the, you know, the things from the museum. So anyway, yeah, I have a bit, so let's start again for a little bit now. Okay, so that has to be fixed now. Oh my goodness. Okay, good morning, hi. Thanks so much for joining. Good morning, thanks for joining, even rhymes. Anyway, yeah, so what we have to fix in here is this serialism. So what it has is actually this segmenting. And this is a typical experimentation of the 20th century because most of the music, classical Western music, is relying on this kind of rules in terms of form, the theme, and then the development of the theme and everything else. You know, it gets into a larger, actually I'm using a different terminology in different languages. Anyway, so with this one, it's the serialism, and it's repeating in a different section these same musical ideas. And then this one. But it's exactly the same in both hands, except it's from a different keys. And then it's still, yeah, that's it. It even sounds a slightly. This is notorious to memorize, actually. No. That's going to get sorted in a while because I need to absorb it, but basically the idea behind this is that painting that you see is that's the frame. Anyway, and then it's the weightlessness afterwards. All of this, it's a weightless atmosphere. Look at that. Now. It's those red dots that are floating around. Yes, it's a painting. Exactly. It's the painting over there, and they are floating, those red ones. A painting is... and all this edginess. It's kind of cubism. It's playing with time. This is the time when the imagination is stronger than reality. Although it's always stronger. This is surface. And then a human part. And then the tricky part. Okay, we're going to get that started now. Let's continue, because I just want to work on the some part of this at the beginning of the first movement, and then, and also before I continue, actually, is that you? Yes, exactly. Made in the no, that's the last one. This is what we've been working on yesterday, and also I think on Friday. Sorry, on Monday. On Monday we were working on it, and also a previous. I started it last week, and okay, that one is definitely out of here. I think it deserves a disciplinary, because we don't need that in the amidst to all of these constructs of the you know of the highest form. So let's see, what are we going to what I need to write down in here, because I need to actually explore the behind. I actually had the thought. Oh yes, this is the surface. But the abstract part is the internal. It's this discovery of the fantastical. Okay, so that has to be memorized with repetitio est mater studiorum. But now let's continue, and then maybe I'll go back to this. there are comments. Actually, that's pianissimo, that part. Okay, so it's very far from Twinkle Star. This is a question of life and death. Do you hear that? Siren. Something dramatic happening. Give concert in the Netherlands last I visited. No, I'm just visiting Amsterdam. I'm not doing concerts, I'm doing recordings. So if I go to Amsterdam for music, it will be to do the recordings. Diamond in the sky, twinkles little. That's what you mean. Okay, wonderful. Okay, good thing to do. Exactly, absolutely. Yeah, there is that as well. But now, that's a siren. A drama. And then. Complete loneliness. Down. And then this is a completely human part. I wonder what would this mean actually? What could it mean actually, this statement? Because it starts after the siren. This is a definitely siren. Sorry, one more time because I want to do the tempo. Whistle, exactly. This is something uniting. It's a technology. Maybe it's the technium. Artificial intelligence is screaming. This is a merging between a technology and a humanity, because we have two themes that are interlaced together. Now, which one is technology? Which one? Is this a technology or is this a human? Actually, that's a serialism again. And then it's going back to the beginning. Yeah, thank you. Okay, so what we have in here, like I still have to create the concept, because that music and that painting are the one thing, the blue one, the light blue one, which is in this kind of parallel universe, in this dimension, which is maybe somehow linked to the futurism, linked to some aspect of technology that we are still yet to merge. Because I think that what is happening right now, technology is part of us. Okay, I think that that's a little bit inappropriate in the midst of this kind of discussion. If we were talking about Dada or Marcel Duchamp, for instance, with the famous fountain, then it might be on point, but now it deserves a mute. Okay, because the sense of entitlement in the live streaming is is just for hunting gathering in terms of the trolls and blocks castles. Anyway, so this is a siren. Exactly what this is. This is a question. This is a siren, a wake-up call. This part. What are we doing with technology? And then we are merging of technology. Merging of technology. technology and humans, and finding humans' value. Human values. That's it actually in here. Disappearing for the moment, and then it's going back to the beginning, to that frame. I don't know what do I don't know. Values in here. Okay, let's continue now. Afraid, it's a fearful, right? It's a fearful type of music. Yes, it is, because it's delving into the subconscious. It's exploring the areas of our minds that are frightening sometimes. Actually, most of our minds is frightening in every aspect. Excuse me. So. Now that's a very modern concept, avant-garde for that time of the, and now this is a completely human part. This is in walking the human values. Humanity, actually a call to the humanity, to uniting. You don't like, because this is within the tonal system. How is triumph spelled? Thank you so much. Eddie's welcome. Get out of here. Get out of here. Okay. The stream of consciousness. I like it. So yeah, this is a very complex. It's actually one of the most complex. I think that I'm somehow gravitating always towards the complex because it seems easier than the easy. But yeah, how is triumph spelled? Triumph, T-R, is it Y? No, triumph, T-R-I, and then Y maybe. Play Turkish mark. I can't play Turkish march. That's a general school music education. It's a very simple stuff. Because now we are going into the work of the mid-20th century, and something that may not be pleasing to the ear at the first sight. Although I do have something that's kind of like a march. But with this, that's Prokofiev now. A completely different combative spirit. But with this one, I wanted to write triumph, and I don't know how it's spelled. I think... Anyway, I'll know what it is. I think it's the Y, actually. Triumph. Something like that. Because this as well. But now, no, let's go back a little bit to that part. I think this one. Again, the edginess of the cubism in here, the vision of distorting the reality, distorting the space-time continuum. You hear it? Where the humanity is bringing profound stuff that humanity is discovering about themselves as they are merging, empowering with the technology and not letting the technology lead them astray, us astray actually. modulating into a different, completely different, some kind of meditation in this part. But we're not going to go further than that because I'm going through the pieces. I still have to practice some Prokofiev, and we have about an hour because I insist on not being too long on the piano. I want the mind to be working as well, as much about everything, just for a moment of the pause, so that we can restructure into the Prokofiev world. And then we're going to start with this third movement of the Seventh War Sonata. Definitely about playing Beethoven. We actually we started the last Beethoven sonata sometimes in May, and then I gave up on it for the moment. I'm going to be working on it later, I think, maybe for the next bunch of recording. Now I'm preparing a series of pieces that I'm going to be professionally recording, and that's basically my contribution for the following year, probably by the end of the year, because I'm also doing the paintings and all of the other things, writings and a lot of stuff. Okay, so toccata, the third movement of the, let's practice a bit in here now. Although I actually want to start again because it's not so clear. I had some missed notes and we can't let that into the mind. So before I go, I need to give you some context. So this sonata written for those who are first time in here, written during the war, and that's why it's called the War Sonata, and it is covering these topics of the turbulence of Europe. It's very much into the collective conscious of the collective aware of the humanity and where it's going wrong, and it's kind of about machine as well. So I've written in here because I make these notes of the concepts that are coming through my mind as I'm working on this. It's a machine firmament where the human is trying to become a machine, and that happened during our Industrial Revolution. And I think that's what it's depicted in here. And then also there is a voice, like for instance in this part, it's as if the human wants to break out of the machine. Look at that. In the midst of that, very technical, very mechanical, that's a human trying to break out of the mechanical. But then it's going back. It's too new. It's too afraid. And then again. To be working on that later. It's kind of breaking apart. This is a folk theme. This is something mythological in here. Okay, themes. I have to be more sound. Things here. Exactly. Thank you. Thank you so much. I can't see the notification from here. I need to check the notification. Sorry, I'm becoming dependent on this. Hold on a second. I was getting something. Was it? I was getting a notification. Oh yes, on Telegram. Actually, all of my notifications are. Okay, good. So, bonjour, welcome. Oh, wonderful. Welcome from Brazil. Greetings. So now we are sharing in here a bit of the classical mid-20th century music. And this is Prokofiev right now, the third movement. So everyone please share and connect. There it is, because I want classical music to become more universal. Why is it that classical music is regarded as something, niche? I think that classical music is like philosophy. There are people that are passionate about philosophers, philosophy, and all of that formation. Oops, one moment. I'm going to get a bit less light because the shutter of the French window is moving, so I just have to get it back. Just give me a second. Okay, back now. Sorry about that. I've missed some comments. Okay, so now let's go into it. Let's go into this scream of an individual, because when I say that, I also think of our educational system and how lame it is, and how some people are still stuck into it. You have to be a machine. You have to be dedicated a certain welcome, a certain region of expertise, and then we don't live in that because all of the machines are taking over all of these expertises. But where we live, we are connecting the different aspects together. We are actually living in much more philosophical times than ever before, which is, I think, why there is such a rise of mindfulness and meditation practices. All of the Buddhism is also, I think, getting a bit more prominent in terms of the philosophical religion. And so this is all response of awakening, of thinking, of getting us less from the body, more into the mind. So this is a rebellious, this is a voice of an individual. What if we were not so machine-like? And then the machine is pulling back, the collective wants, it's too unsafe not to be machine-like. Absolutely, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure to. That's why this makes it worthwhile, because I think that it's kind of like I'm learning now, but also it's my contribution of maybe a bit of selflessness to open source, to shed all the inhibitions and share with the world, because it might be a little bit of a meaningful insight into what's going on with this music, which is very dense in terms of thoughts, and it's very significant because that's the future. I think even the filmmaking is going to be more like this, more about the thoughts and processes, less about who survives, the hero, and all of that kind of stuff. So this is uniting in here. At least two people. But then they are going back. Beginning of the machine. And then this is very innocent separately, but even in the context totally different. On the front feature, is that true? Okay, yeah, thank you for the feature. That's lovely to be sharing this the spark of the 20th century that I think kind of hallmarked the whole of the 21st century, because we are discovering so much. Yeah, thank you so much, Pavlos, for creating the shield, the invisibility shield, the protection. Yeah, so everyone, please share and connect. So let's go now. Let's go back to this part, to the beginning. Let's sense it, the mechanical. To be played in the same rhythm. This feels like bringing the mountain up. This is like Atlas holding the this part just now. It's as if the Atlas, you know who the Atlas is in our mythological primordial world, where we actually managed to write down the imaginary because we just had exactly the same type or amount of imagination like we have today, but we just didn't have the means to write it before the mythology. And Atlas is holding the sky on the shoulders. So this is what it feels like. Atlas holding the sky in here because it has such a spark, you know. But before that we have this individual. Maybe it's the individuals realizing that as a collective we are the Atlas holding the sky, but it's unacknowledged because we became a machine. And now that we have the machines to take over, oh, thank you so much, Sinbad the Traveler, is it, for the super heart? I appreciate it. Was it a Sinbad? I know that there was a cartoon I was watching by a Sinbad, but I don't know, I forgot. I think it was a marine, like a captain or something like that. So it's interesting to explore. Anyway, let's now go back to this. Because of the need a bit of the pose right now. Okay. Which part? Yes. So this is a folk song now. In here, and I also getting the hand hurting, which means I'm not relaxed enough. This relaxes me. So hold on. that's good. So now let's go back to Prokofiev and back to these folk-like areas. 6 hours sleep enough? Oh, I don't know about that. About 6 hours. I think for me it depends. It's between 6 and 10 hours. Sometimes it's 10 hours when the neurons are working hard on learning something, or I don't know if I'm building something on the computer. So let's start from, I think, here. Probably about coding, something to do with the technology, but on a different level. The Claude Debussy, I actually have Debussy, that's also a 20th century, but the beginning, The Island of Joy. for the moment. So that's Watteau's inspired piece of music, Watteau's paintings, and the paintings is inspired by the mythology and one of the Aphrodite's islands, and there are many of Cupids, and there are people rejoicing in the lightness of being, in the power of love and all of that kind of stuff, but in a very, you know, happiness. It's about the unconditional happiness, I think, as well. So yeah, Claude, by the way, Claude Debussy was born on the same day as me, so it's very special for me as well, but of course different age. Okay, now let's go back to the Prokofiev, and this analytical, notorious a little bit as well. I'm going to start from here, I think from this folk-like aspect. No, from here actually. Rhythm. Okay, now it's a different type of stuff. Went with the random. Let's go back again. Too noisy. It's a bit difficult. fast. Yes, exactly, because it's such an exciting piece. Now I'm just reading this part because I haven't learned. Now you see how it looks like. Just the development of what we already have in here. Yeah. Anyway, I think for later, just hold on a second, how is this? It's a really kind of at the breaking point here. It's very, even not so difficult, but very effective piece for the audience. It pulls the audience in. The last two pages definitely, but before that I think it's getting Norman. Hi, good morning. Simon, thanks for joining. Instagram is Ideas Rex. Yeah, Instagram is Ideas Rex, as is everything else. So anyway, what's the time? Because it's a kind of like a 1 hour goal. Yeah, I think that we are beyond 1 hour. Can we see in here? Although I would love to play a little bit of the fourth movement, because I was I want to just play a little bit of the, thank you, with the fourth movement of the sixth sonata. Thank you so much, and so are you and everyone's in here. So it's nucleus. Classical, isn't it? Desolation. So lonely in here. Such a span of desolate. Then something new. Ogre is waking up. Do you hear the creature? It's not Penderecki, this is Prokofiev. But Penderecki is very interesting, especially the one, the tragedy to the victims of the Hiroshima. Did you listen to that one? actually covering the same topics. You know, a new piano can... what do you mean about the new piano and the old routine? In which sense? Because I was working on some grand piano at the museum, and this is a digital piano, so I wanted to get the touch. Now I appreciate the sound and the touch of this one because it's much more perfect. That's one, I don't know, some kind of a Russian brand I've never played on, but still it's quite interesting because the acoustic, and it has this it has a different, I think, mechanics compared to the Steinway. I don't know Pozzoli. Okay, so... disappeared, and then aliens are coming. The Banshee. No, I haven't. But that's a great topic. Maybe this is a Banshee. I had some wrong notes, so I'm going to repeat. Maybe this has a Banshee in here. Aliens. of the Iron Fist that's organizing the whole nation, because that's where Prokofiev was kind of idealistically wrong. I think he got disillusioned with the whole system. At first he was in support of it, and then this sonata, they say that, and the other one, number 7 and the number 8, are probably some of the most honest pieces by him. They are not influenced too much by by this kind of neoclassical thinking, the positive psychology. They're actually raw and real, and there is a lot of innovation in there. So anyway, I think that now we have to wrap it up. I was going for quite a long time, more than an hour, and I don't want to practice more than that, so I'm finishing it here. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching, and Paula, special thanks for the shield, invisibility shield. I'll call it a lilac shield of that's kind of reflecting back the negativity. Thank you so much. So I'll see you next time. Creation. This is not my own creation, this is Prokofiev. So I'll see you next time. Have a great time. Thank you so much. Bye bye.